regular person who is in sight within the regular people, she's the top of the pyramid for that level of a lot of things. And her level of darkness allegedly is off the chart. I mean, I'm talking about his wife, but this lady here, she is. If we were to believe what our wonderful friend says, she says that allegedly this is somebody who does things where you would consume, the forbidden flesh, if that makes sense, of very young people.
Ron, things do go bump in the night.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. So, after my 10,000 hours that I put into this, I believe there are three different groups. There are people that are way darker than that lady. I'll tell you that much. Uh,
Do you know what, homie? Right? I'm gonna just take a breath. This lady I'm showing you now. There's a lot of people who I could tell you now would come across looking way more evil, more dark. They may do things, but I can guarantee you, try and look at most of that as almost like a showing off for attention to get a leg up, because there is this. The buck almost is serious. And for
so,
example, Lammy, on you go. Yeah, carry on.
okay.
Oh yeah, man. You knew what this was going to be about. All right. Listen, do you know what I'm saying? You knew what this was going to be about. This is an investigation more than an interview. You know it.
So along my path, I've had to do my own sorts of investigations several times. It's going to get dark right now because there are groups, there are entities that operate within the realm of Hollywood where they proposition you things in exchange for success. Uh, I was the bodyguard for a gentleman who was a very popular artist. One time at an event, he was approached. He got approached by a gentleman that gave me a very eerie feeling. He was about 5'9", blonde hair, blue-eyed gentleman, probably in his late 50s. I noticed that he had a Vacheron Constantine watch on. That watch is probably worth about $3-4 million. He took the watch off and he set it on the table and he adjusted his cufflinks before he spoke to me, before he spoke to the artist I was with. He said to the talent, he said, "You've been pretty successful. Without you knowing, we've helped you along the way. But for us to continue to help, you need to work with us." Something about this gentleman was very eerie. He didn't blink. Uh, it's almost as if he was like I just got like a vampirism, cannibalistic vibe from this guy. Like he would eat people alive. And I noticed that to have a watch on almost $3 million, no security, no one's with him. Everybody pretty much was on his every beck and call throughout this event. And when the artist I was with politely declined his help, he was smug. Uh, he had a pretty crass response. He said, "Well, good luck to you, young man." He walked away. That artist never went platinum again, never released another album, and his career went into the dumps immediately after this. And he always said to me, he said, "You know what, bro? I wish I would have worked with that creepy dude." Now, this lady who you keep showing me, she was there at this event, and him and her weren't kind to each other.
They were not kind. They were not
They,
kind to each other.
they were not kind to each other at all. They had a slight verbal altercation, and I seen this gentleman do like this to her. I don't know exactly what this means. I've done research on it. I've seen. I know it's a sign of disrespect. I know it's a slight, and it was at that moment I knew. I said, "Oh, there are different groups
Oh yeah,
who compete with each other to recruit different talent."
yeah. And I'm not gonna take the the narrative too wild here. But you know yourself with talking to Beverly, there is so many aspects to what we have no understanding of. And these individuals, when you touch on vampiric and things like that, it's that vibe of unnatural. Uh, their vibe isn't what you would expect from a human, effectively, if that's what you're feeling. I'm not saying he's not human. I'm just saying, dark souls, dark energies. You can feel it. You feel it.
I say this with every fiber in my being. I do not believe that all of these people are typical flesh and blood human beings.
I 100% want to just say I completely endorse that mindset. 100%. Okay, if we are talking about individuals that are so influential and powerful that they just appear and disappear from no security, and they're not caught on camera and no one sees them and all this kind of stuff. There's more to this bloodline story than anyone could ever fathom. And when we start talking about the possibility of more than just human, that's probably a better way of putting it for people in the side chat. More than just human. That is 100% fathomable. And if you want to go fully from a legal point of view, the somewhere in America, there's been this whole legal thing with the UFOs, and more than once they've confirmed that the government has been speaking to non-human entities, non-human life forms. I heard it myself, and Big Homie is nailing it here. He's absolutely hitting the nail on the head. And when it comes to DNA and things like this, for those of you who may not know, in the human DNA structure, there's a lot of what people are called junk DNA, and there's theories that have got a lot of evidence behind them that junk DNA is foreign, off-world DNA that has been placed within us as almost like a secret. And this Sunday, we're doing Big Homie's off-world DNA analysis uh, on the show, so it'd be great to have you there. Listen, you all want me to let him speak? I'm letting him speak. I've got to do my job as well. Everyone relax.
And ever since I began, operating, with you, Beverly, Shaun Atwood.
Yeah.
So I've had the flu now. I've had flu symptoms now for 27 days. And
Yeah,
I don't find it a coincidence that I'm, taking antibiotics. Not really working. You know, I receive maybe 5 Instagram calls a week. Where when I answer it, it's different ladies who just say a quick prayer or protection prayer over me, and they just hang up. Uh, I'm reaching the end of the line when it comes to my pathway on this because I'm concerned for my soul because I've had to exact evil upon evil people uh, in the name of light. Now, in my first Cam Capone interview, that's at 1 million views now, I referred to a group of people as vampires because that's what they seem like to me. Uh, I do know that there is a group of them who only come out after a certain time of night. I do know there's a group of them who believe that they are descendants of the person that the story Dracula was derived from. I know that they are passionate about having their foot on people's necks. They really believe that it's their bloodline's right to rule over others. And I know that Shaun Carter's wife has a spiritual person that travels with her to try to protect her from people that have ESP abilities, so that when they try to view her, they see black and darkness. I know this to be facts. You know, I don't believe it's a coincidence that our paths have aligned. You know, I'm always prepared for a catastrophic event. So, whenever I'm doing these interviews, I got people outside. I got people outside.
Yeah.
I'm always listening for any sound. I've been ambushed before. I've had attempts on my life.
Yeah.
I always said I fought evil. Back in 2018, I was involved in a violent cataclysm. Some people lost their life. And I would always hashtag fight evil. And people never really knew what that was about. But I knew before I became a parent and before I got into any serious relationship,
Yeah.
I would have to put an end to this path. And I said when it was time, I would come to the end of my story. And I would have to depend on other warriors in the light like yourself to continue this fight, because it's necessary, but it's different groups. It's different.
100%. 100. I just want to. I need to talk to you, man. Oh, man, for a second. So when you mentioned your soul there, big homie, right? A very very quick analysis of this is people like you and myself, and I'm going to throw John Wedger in there as well. None of us choose to do what we're doing. It's like we were guided or chosen or put on a path. And I was doing a paranormal investigation where a spirit box came out of my pocket and a voice came through and said, "Your soul is protected." It was the first thing it said. And I think that's what comes with being on this path, is that gift that our souls are protected. And I just want you to know that. And the people are saying my sound is bad. Let me know. I mean, I'm using a pretty good setup. It might be my sound coming out Big Homie's speakers. If I mute Big Homie when I'm talking, you'll probably find you don't get that clicky that clicky sound. See, so for all the Ron haters out there, haha, learn how technology works. Okay, I'm going to try and be quiet, but I just want to jump in on one of the points you made, Big Homie, about this individual that follows around Beyonce. Are you still there? I think Big Homie's frozen or I've frozen. One of the two. Can you guys let me know if I'm still unfrozen? Big Homie, you there? Are you there, dude? I bet he's got a phone call or something. Well, listen. Oh, no, he's back. He's back. He's back. You there, bro?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
You know exactly what.
Yeah, I know exactly what's going on.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. I think what comes with this whole, this whole shtick, this whole journey, this whole mission, is our souls are protected. And I'm a firm believer of that, right? So if I get that wrong, feel free to haunt the living hell out of me if that day overcomes, Big Homie. I'll tell you that right now. But I want to go back. I want to go back to this lady, and I want to ask you, first of all, before we go back to that lady, these vampiric gentlemen. That's not the first time, right? I mean, you're tying this in with the subject matter, but how broad a spectrum are these meets? Okay, with regards to those kind of individuals, and is it the same man you see, or is it similar looking individuals that are slightly different? Like, I feel like this is bigger than what you touched on here.
What does the name Ball mean to you? Like Baal, Ball. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's got multiple meanings. So you've obviously got the gathering of people to dance, a ball. Okay, you've also got the abbreviation of cabal, which is a thing. I mean, yeah, that's probably where There's somebody in the site chat just said the devil and devil worship. Baal. There we go. Baal. Yeah, Baal. Yeah, that was where I'm agreeing.
Okay, so
You said ball. I'm a dumbass. You said Baal, and it was ball. Yeah, I know Baal. I know where you're going with it.
Yeah, so the guy who we encountered, apparently that was his name, Bao. Your audio just went out.
Yeah, let's refer to him as Mr. B from now on. Okay, because if we're talking about what we know we're talking about, we don't want to say that's not what we want to do. We don't want to say their names, but
there's a couple different groups and they all don't get along with each other.
Okay, I'm just googling some stuff here. Just tell me. Hang on a second. Here we go. Hang on a second. Alternately known as Baal, or Baal, originally one of the fertility. Okay, man, there's a lot. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. It's one of the first 72 spirits of Solomon. That's where I know it from. Yeah, this is serious forgotten knowledge stuff, man. Like, we're talking about individuals that have made deals with things that have never been alive, people. We're talking about non-living entities. We're talking about demonic, ancient, forgotten, allegedly forgotten magic. And Solomon's exactly where I knew the name Baal from. So I'm going to be quiet now and just go as deep into this as you want to go. I want to hear more about the Baal people, and I definitely want to hear more about the encounters with Marina and Beyonce. Please, Mr. Homie. Thank you very much.
All right. So oh boy. Okay. So now I said that because I did have certain concerns for my soul because there was a situation where there was I was sent some footage of a guy who had made a mistake and leaked the video to his Facebook. And the video was him pretty much encouraging a young girl who was in the nude to try on different bathing suits.